Highway Patrol.
Yeah, I think I just saw O.J. Simpson on the 5 freeway, and he's heading north.
As we're watching here, Vince, we're seeing a car that's been pulling up and pulling back, and now we see the white Bronco take off at a speed that's considerably faster than it's been driving before.
We can't identify that other car, that it has apparently been playing some form of tag with the Bronco there. We don't know if it is, obviously it's some kind of an official vehicle, but we don't know what it is.
But look at the people standing on the freeway there, waving.
There are a number of people standing on the side of the road, just the curious and also well-wishers. We watch people wave and blow kisses as Mr. Simpson drives by.
Very difficult getting information from the scene because police have instituted a blackout. Police are
Cowlings there now, isn't it, with facing to the left of our screen?
In the dark clothes,
We love the juice, save the juice. A lot of these people came by on motorcycles. They followed the police motorcade that followed Simpson to this residence, and they parked their motorcycles, some cars, and they're gathering here trying to show their support for Simpson as a standoff is taking place just about 500 yards in front of them right now. All of them very enthusiastic, hopeful that O.J. Simpson will emerge from the car safe and be taken into custody safely. That's what they're saying right now.
It's reminiscent of a movie I saw years ago. I think it was called Dog Day Afternoon with, if I remember correctly, Al Pacino, and a crowd gathered outside somewhere, and they were outside a bank, and they were chanting. I don't know if they were chanting Attica or whatever they were chanting, but this is reminiscent of that. Sometimes,
it's strange you say that. It's strange you say that, Harold.
Stand and face the jury. Mrs. Robertson.
Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles, in the matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA097211. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson, a human being, as charged in count 1 of the information. Superior Court of the State of California, County of Los Angeles, in the matter of the people of the State of California versus Orenthal James Simpson. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Ronald Lyle Goldman, a human being, as charged in count 2 of the information. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, further find the special circumstance that the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, has in this case been convicted of at least one crime of murder of the first degree and one or more crimes of murder of the first or second degree to be not true. Signed this second day of October 1995, Juror 230. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is this your verdict? So say you one, so say you all.
All right, counsel, Mr. Simpson.
Well, the prosecution lost the case for themselves. They collected the evidence improperly.
How?
Well, they didn't use gloves when they collected the evidence, and when they stored the blood evidence, they left it in the wrong containers, and it made it moldy.
You're right. There was also evidence planted at the scene.
Oh, really? Like what?
There was blood evidence found on a week after the crime scene was sealed that wasn't there previously. There was also a bloody sock found 2 months after the crime, but the blood was smeared on instead of dripped on, like the prosecution was trying to prove.
Oh, that's interesting. Didn't they also try to recreate what they thought happened?
What do you mean?
They got actors to replay how Nicole and Ronald were murdered.
Hey, Nicole, what's going on out here?
But it could never really be accurate.
You're right. right. There were no eyewitnesses either, or videos. Plus, people can read evidence incorrectly.
Nicole Brown Simpson was brutally murdered on June 12, 1994. She and friend Ron Goldman were stabbed multiple times and found on the steps outside Simpson's home. A major problem in the Simpson trial was the mishandling of evidence. There were many reports of evidence tampering, especially with evidence being supposedly found after the crime scenes were sealed. Blood found on the gate was not found on the first investigation of the Simpson home. This led the defense to come to the conclusion that it was planted there after the fact. Then, when the blood was tested, it was found to have high levels of EDTA, an anticoagulating substance used in laboratories. The blood-soaked gloves found by Nicole's body and in OJ's backyard were thought to be OJ's, but during the trial, when he tried them on, they didn't fit him.
That's people 77.
When it happened in court, did you know you were in trouble?
I knew that it hadn't gone as well as I had hoped it should have gone.
Did you regard it as like earth-shattering to the case?
No, not necessarily, not particularly. It wasn't until I went upstairs and left the courtroom that I realized that people thought that it was a monumental failure, a monumental mistake.
Leading away from the bodies were bloody footprints. After much investigation, the prints were size 12, the same as O.J. Simpson's. They were from a pair of high-end Italian shoes that Mr. Simpson owned but couldn't be found. The socks found in O.J.'s room were said to have Mrs. Simpson's blood on them. The prosecution was trying to prove that the blood got there by O.J. stepping into Nicole's blood when leaving the scene. The trial of Orenthal James, O.J. Simpson, is known as the trial of the century. It was very racially fueled. Racial slurs were slung around the courtroom. It's crazy how quickly this case turned into a racial issue.
Judge Ejo's decision smells of corruption, cover-up, underscore cover-up, racism, disrespect for all morally decent people in this city and in this.
When one of the murder victims.
Nearly 40 minutes out of an hour, we have seen a man who perhaps is the worst kind of racist himself. Someone who shoves racism in front of everything. Someone who compares a person who speaks racist comments to Hitler. A person who murdered millions of people. This man is the worst kind of human being imaginable. He compares racism of its worst kind in this world to what's going on in this case. He has suggested that racism is the foundation of the police department, of our justice system, and only these jurors are capable of fixing everything that has been going on in history? This man is sick!
The knife used to commit the murders was supposedly never found. But in 1998, when O.J.'s estate was demolished, a construction worker found a knife and gave it to an off-duty police officer who kept the knife. He kept it framed in his house for years. In late January of this year, the cop contacted a friend in the force to try and get the department number for the Simpson-Goldman murder so he could get it engraved on the frame. The friend told his superiors, and they made the retired officer hand over the knife, which he complied to. The knife is being tested now for DNA evidence.